Hey, good morning, you guys. It's a beautiful morning here in Hawaii. We've had a bunch of rain the last couple days, and so today's the first morning that it's actually cleared up and the sun's out. So I'm excited to get an outdoor push workout in. Before I get into that, just gonna get in a little bit of a warm up, and then I'll take you guys and show you guys some of the moves I'm gonna be doing today. All right, you guys, got my warm up in. Now I'm just gonna do a set of push-ups, standard shoulder width distance hand placement, just to kind of get things fired up and get this push workout started. The pull-up bar here is pretty wobbly at the top there, so kind of adds another dynamic to the movement, which I suppose is not a bad thing. Kind of like doing straight bar dips on rings or something where there's a little bit of instability. It kind of requires, you know, your shoulders and your upper torso to really stabilize and your core. So not necessarily ideal in terms of how it feels, but I can't complain in the sense that it's adding a beneficial stimulus. Nevertheless, gonna get into the some overhead pushing now. All right, just got done with those pike push-ups. Pike push-up deficits, actually. Most of the time my pike push-ups either just straight up on the floor or my feet are elevated, but I'm still only doing, partial range without a deficit. Anyways, I just got these parallettes actually pretty recently. I've got some other parallettes that are lower to the ground, kind of for working on handstands and whatnot, but having these kind of higher raised ones allows me to get into a bit of a more of a deficit. Here's a little shot of the parallettes. Not sponsored or anything here. but so far so good. They're pretty stable, and yeah, they feel good. Nice circumference on the bars, and sometimes it's hard to find a pair of parallettes that are actually stable. I've gone through a couple different brands before, and it seems like either one leg on one of them or both of them, just like usually some wobble. So it's kind of rare to find a brand and a pair that is actually stable on all 4 legs. I'm gonna get back to it here. Probably jump in another set of push-ups. Those are pretty nice push-ups if you guys haven't ever tried those. It's kind of like opening up your shoulder capsule a bit. It's pretty different than standard shoulder width, fingers forward push-ups. So definitely give those a try if you guys haven't already. Highly recommend them. On the pike push-ups you saw, I pretty much went to failure. Could not pump out that last rep. So far on the 2 sets of push-ups and the single set of straight bar dips that I've done, I haven't gone to complete failure yet. So I'm trying to make that a point here moving forward. Definitely went to failure on that one. Could not bust out that last rep. That's pretty challenging, but you know, that's what's certainly going to stimulate growth and strength gains. Kind of going to failure and just really pushing it and giving everything you have. You know, I have a tendency to swing my legs forward as I go down. I'll admit that's probably a weakness in my core, maybe my lower back. Nevertheless, I got to get into the second set here of the overhead pike push-ups. Those are pretty brutal, actually, those deficits. You know, just doing them with your feet on the floor and your hands on the floor, just going basically half range of motion. Those are pretty intense as well, but those deficits are really good. Really happy I got those parallettes and that I'm starting to incorporate that more into my training. I think that having that bottom range, I'm really putting some tension on my shoulders. I think that'll really help me build up some strength there. That's certainly where I'm the weakest in overhead pressing. I'm gonna get into the third set of push-ups here. Just got done with those archer push-ups. It's always nice to throw in some unilateral push-up work. So that was the third set of straight bar dips. It's always a benefit of as your workout goes on and you get the muscle pump and you generally have a better connection to the muscle, the targeted muscle. So yeah, felt pretty good. And I'm gonna get into the next set of overhead pike push-ups here. I think I only did, I don't know, 3 or 4 reps, but despite having a pretty low, rep count there in that set, I feel like I'm connecting to my shoulders pretty well. And, to me, that's what's most important right now, is really just feeling that targeted, musculature more than just seeing the number skyrocket. I do feel like I'm getting stronger, but clearly I've got a ways to go with overhead pressing. So I'm gonna jump here into the next set of push-ups. Just finished that set of diamond push-ups for the inner chest and just change up the grip a bit. Depending on how familiar you guys are with calisthenics, it's really important that you guys just change up wrist and hand placement. It's going to drastically change, which muscle group is predominantly being used for a given exercise. So it's kind of like doing a different exercise with, dumbbells, rotating your grip one way or the next. We can do the same thing with calisthenics. You really can target just different muscle groups depending on the rotation or the placement of your hands in accordance to your shoulders, whether out wide, closer together, up above by your head, your nose, closer down towards your belly button. So that's one of the beauties of calisthenics, is just be able to change things up. So you'll see in that last set of overhead pike push-ups, I think I only got 2 reps, so definitely fatiguing, definitely slowing down here in terms of the rep count. And then I went and followed that up with my last set of push-ups as deficit push-ups, so kind of a bit of a regression in some sense, I guess, to the pike push-ups, just because the push-ups were also, the regular push-ups were deficit as well, so got a little extra tension on my shoulders, kind of leaning a little bit in towards the pike push-up, form, but of course it's still not an overhead press movement, it's more of a horizontal movement, regular push-up movement. So next up here, I got the last set of straight bar dips. All right, let's see how it goes. That was the final straight bar dip set. Gassing out here. I think I want to say I got like 7 reps or something, which is less than 50%, I believe, of my first set. So I'm gonna call it good on the straight bar dips for the day, as well as the push-ups. I'm gonna do one more set of pike push-ups, and then we'll see how I'm feeling after that. All right, guys, just got done with the workout. Pretty happy with the volume. That was 15 total sets. So 5 sets of straight bar dips, 5 sets of push-ups, and 5 sets of overhead pike push-ups. Clearly my pike push-ups are, kind of the weak link there. That's something I hope to improve upon. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, you'll know that probably my top calisthenics skill that I'm working towards right now is the freestanding handstand push-up, which of course demands, considerable amount of overhead pushing strength. Today was kind of more of just like a mix in some basics every now and then type of workout. I do have a primary focus on overhead pushing strength in most of my pushing workouts, but I do think it's beneficial to every now and then kind of throw in a more of like a basic day and kind of get back to some of those basic movements like push-ups and dips and just maintain that level of strength. If you guys enjoyed the video, I really appreciate you watching, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it'll really help the channel grow. So thanks for watching, you guys, and catch you in the next one. I'm being infiltrated here. You guys gonna come work out or what?